Welcome back to the Mind Hiking Podcast. I am your host, Brody Frye, and today I'm going to be sitting down with Doug Hurst. This is going to be a really fun, genuine conversation, and we also have a full house, so my apologies for the background noise, but hang in there, and we got some quality content in this conversation, so stay tuned. Hey everyone, it's Brody Frye, and here we dive deep into difficult questions. We'll map out thoughts, theories, and crazy ideas for the love of knowledge and growth. So, how do we answer some of the mind's toughest questions? This is the Mind Hiking Podcast. All right, everybody, this is going to be kind of a laid-back, crazy one because we got 3 dogs in the house currently, so don't mind all the barking and panting like that. But it'll be cool. So tonight I got Douglas Hurst. This is one that I've been wanting to do for a while. I'm excited for this one. So, Doug, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Yeah, we got a few drinks here. I don't know what you're drinking there, but it looks interesting.
Got the Oberon American Wheat Ale.
Fuck yeah.
It's Bell's from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh shit, yeah. Cool. Yeah,
delicious.
You're pretty well cultured in the beer arena, aren't you?
I used to brew for a while, but then I kind of stepped back from that for a bit. Now I cook a lot, but
yeah, you pulled pork tonight.
Oh yeah, man, smoked it for 14 hours. I think
That's crazy.
Yeah,
dang,
took too long.
Yeah, you're saying you had to set an alarm or whatever for whatever. Like what was it, 12 or
12:30? The alarm goes off, and then I had to let it rest for like an hour. And I'm like, pulling pork at 2 a.m.
Brewing though, you were a bartender for a while too, right? And
brewing. I was in bars and restaurants for like 14 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I started as a busboy, worked to the dishwasher, and then I ended up running them and designing my own food menu and creating everything. So all the cocktails and stuff. It was cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. And brewing, you actually made your own beer, or?
Yeah, I haven't done that many batches, but when I was like 21 I got really into brewing.
Oh, that's cool.
I was like IPA.
Yeah.
I did a lot of funky stuff too. I did like an American cream ale, and
dang,
I thought it was gonna be amazing, but ended up being way too sugary, and I put way too much priming sugar in, and the thing just ended up like a bottle rocket when I would open it.
Yeah, like champagne.
It was just overly carbonated. So I was like disposing of them in the alley in Chicago.
Yeah.
And the first couple just like foam everywhere, and then my hand got like wet and slippery. So as I was doing it, they were just kind of shooting out of my hand at the wall and just shattering. And I was like, all right,
that's crazy. Dang. What goes into like brewing? Like I have no idea how you make beer.
It's chemistry. It's just so you start off by boiling water, and then you add your grains and your malts and oats, and you extract like the sugars from that, stir it, drain that, and then you'll end up adding like hops and everything. Yeah. And whatever you want to add to it. I did like a lot of vanilla and like my brown ales and stuff. I did like a vanilla nut brown ale that was really good. I would kind of like get like the boxed kits when I started. Yep. And that made it pretty easy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Drake, on the other hand, like he's got the whole freaking setup.
Oh, man. Does he? Really?
Yeah, he's got like a glycol chiller. He's got the whole setup. He kegs his stuff. And
dang.
He does a good job. He does a lot more of like normal lagers, Vienna lagers.
Yeah.
He'll do IPAs and stuff, but not a lot of like hazies. Huh. But he keeps them pretty like simple.
Yeah, that's cool.
But they always taste great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Some of them though, he's made some real strong ones.
Oh,
I'll come over to like sample some of his beers, and I'm like, all right, guess I'm sleeping on the couch tonight.
Dang, you ever thought about like or bottling that stuff and selling it or something? Anything that's good? Or
when Drake and I were like super into it, I think both of us had like, I think we must have had like 350 bottles at one point because we're like brewing addicts, man. We were just doing it all the time. It's more about
brewing it than drinking it.
Yeah. And then I was always like, drinking a homebrew while homebrewing. Yeah. And next thing you know, I'm like, all right, we got to get rid of some of this.
Yeah.
So we did like a party at my buddy's house and just had the whole fridge stocked with like 350 beers.
Oh, wow.
I don't think anyone was left over at the end of the party.
Oh, dang. Yeah, everybody just stayed the night.
Yeah. We did like a home brew and like edible party. So we all had like a couple sticks of butter and we just like made it. It was just like a bunch of like old dudes baking treats and drinking a home brew.
That's awesome.
It was a wild time. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez, that's crazy. Yeah. Edibles though. I tried my first one not too long ago. That was I think they were like 2 milligrams. So it's like basically as low as you can get.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is a good way to start off.
Yeah. Just, it was cool to try. I think it was more of like a curious thing. I like find myself being curious about things more than, I change things up a little bit. I don't know how you feel about that, but like I like to like just test things out for myself. I'm like a little scientist kind of, I guess. It's like experiment with the world and just move on to the next thing. Yeah. I know like one thing too is like, so it's kind of interesting. I don't know why. I've had this like fascination. I think it might be with the farm too, because we used to grow up on the farm and do a lot of like, I've talked about on the podcast too, about like all the gardening and stuff that we've done and just kind of like living off our own stuff. And one of the things that we do is like forage for mushrooms, and we'd go like morel mushroom hunting and stuff like that. And I freaking love those things, and I love mushrooms. And then there's a whole other side to that, like the psychedelic side of mushrooms, that not that I don't think I'd ever be interested in trying that myself, but it's something I've been curious about because I like, people talk about some crazy visions.
I think you got to eat a lot of mushrooms to see like a whole lot of stuff that's not there. You watch a movie and the way they depict mushrooms is like kind of over the top.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I have no frame of reference, so
mushrooms are kind of just like being super high.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's more of like a feeling. You do get a little bit of like the visuals, but more or less it's like it almost feels like you have like supervision. Like like if there was a fly on the wall, I could like and see all of like the little hairs on the back of the fly.
It's like Spider-Man senses.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So it's like basically like hyper focus.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Dang.
I've never done acid. I know people that have said they like saw things from acid. Yeah. I personally like to keep it like, I like to have something that's not made in a lab.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
fucking knows, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of where the trust kind of goes out the window, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all right. Well, I think so. Actually, we got Stephanie Frye here.
Yo.
And she was just enlightening us on some crazy experiences. You want to enlighten the rest of us?
So I stepped into the void here, and I was informed that they were talking about shrooms. And
she's also had a few drinks.
And I was telling them about how one time one of my friends got stuck in like this time loop when he was taking acid one time, and he said
what do you mean by time loop?
Like he said that the same like however many minutes just kept like repeating over and over again, and he lost his fucking mind because he was like, literally, you guys have had the same conversation on repeat for like 15 minutes. And he started like tweaking out, and my one friend like held him down because he was like losing his shit. And then he like bit a chunk out of my friend's arm because he was going crazy.
Gee, okay, yeah. See, this is exactly why I have no interest in doing any of this stuff, because I can just like get these experiences through other people, and now I'm good.
Yes. I've eaten mushrooms and never even came close to biting any of my friends' arms.
Wait, was that mushrooms?
No, 'twas acid.
It was the acid.
Okay. As the dogs are fighting in here.
So sorry.
So, okay, for some information here, My sister and Doug's doggy is in love with Bailey, our female miniature
I
Australian
apologize for his behavior.
Yes.
You guys are just lucky you can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a little golden dachshund. He's a sweet boy. But yeah, he loves to hump Bailey.
Yeah, when he's not pissing on people.
Yeah, that too.
Get out.
We're selling them.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into AI. I know that's kind of what we wanted to discuss. Yeah, crazy
Exit
stuff.
ramp AI.
Yes. Let's get out here. I just skirt right into this quick. You like that transition? AI. Yeah, this stuff is getting wild because, so I actually heard that they're talking about in like future. Okay, we're going to tie in a few theories here. This is going to blow some minds, but I heard that they're going to, in future Sims games, they're going to be introducing AI into that.
No way.
Yeah, and at that point, it's like, these things, like, if they're going to be like, you know, update after update, whatever, they start kind of learning themselves in the game. How long does it take before they kind of have their own thought of, what are we? What are we doing here kind of thing? And then the possibility of them being able to learn to write code in this simulation game, and now all of a sudden they're creating their own AI inside of that, and it's like, is that what we are? Are we just like a Sims game that somebody just fucking...
Whoa.
that somebody just put AI in, and now we're sitting here thinking that we're like important or something, but we're just a video game for entertainment that just became self-aware?
Oh man, here I was thinking that we lived inside of the eye of a gigantic monster, and the sky is just the blue eye.
That could be.
Yeah.
Holy shit, yeah, you're right.
Did you steal that from that new Disney movie?
Is it in a Disney movie?
I have no idea, is it?
New Disney movie. It's called Strange World. I have yet to make Doug watch it, but it's really good. Hit it up.
Oh, is that actually in that?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Sorry,
shit.
spoiler alert.
Oh, God.
That's the ending. You're not supposed to know.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, guess I'll have to watch that.
Got it.
Yeah. Dang. AI. What, ChatGPT?
I mean, I haven't heard about that Sims thing. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah, that was recent, too. I just heard that.
I was just talking to somebody the other day. I forgot who it was, but we were talking about like how AI is and how people are like just chatting with AI like it's
like a friend.
It's like a friggin' homie, you know?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Her?
No.
It's kind of a strange flick.
Okay.
It's Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson's like this AI program on a computer.
Okay.
And he's like chatting with her, you know, like he's a lonely, kind of a weird guy.
Yep.
Ends up kind of kicking it off with this AI, right?
Okay, yeah.
They start having a relationship.
Yeah.
It's pretty funky. It's pretty weird, but it's definitely plausible, man. I'm like 6
Yeah.
months times they're going to have people in like legitimate relationships with AI. He ends up getting really jealous because he finds out that this AI has multiple relationships with other people across the world.
Jeez.
Because she's a programming
Yeah.
system for that.
Yeah.
So he gets like super jealous and like
That's so
angry
weird.
about it.
Dang.
Like, there's going to be like murders because
Yeah.
someone's
Yeah.
chatting with her AI.
Yeah, what the
That's
hell?
some wild
That's
stuff.
so weird. Yeah.
But now they're going to put that in The Sims.
yeah.
And you're going to like create a life with somebody, marry this AI character.
Well, that's so weird too, because like I okay, this is gonna kind of take it for a turn in a weird direction, but I don't care. I mean, if you've listened this far, you can hang on for more. I heard, so like, you know, they got freaking like these. So they're building robots. They got sex robots, and they're putting AI in these things.
Are they already doing that?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, I don't know how far they are, but I know they're like experimenting with that. And I heard something about like, I can't remember the exact number, but it was like something by, what was it? Like 2030 or 2035 or something like that, humans are going to be having more sex with robots than other humans.
2035?
Yeah, it was something along those lines. I don't remember the exact dates. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like very like more recent than you'd.
I honestly was thinking more recent than that.
yeah. It could even be out, but yeah, it was something along those lines. But like, yeah, I was like, holy shit!
With like the rate, like OnlyFans is expanding and stuff. Like,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's only a matter of time until somebody picks up this sex robot idea and then they're selling them like crazy.
Oh, fuck.
By the way, why are they putting it in sex robots first? You'd think it would be in like any sort of other robot first.
Yeah. I think this is just like businesses that are already in like the sex toy industry that are just kind of like adopting this, I guess.
They got their hand in the AI pot and the sex toy pot, and they're just like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Do I have an idea for you?
Yeah, no, it's just a wild idea. I was just like, what the hell? Like, where are we even, how does even reproduction happen? It's like what's the point of...
Oh, they're going to put fucking wombs in these robots, man.
Yeah, are they? Like, what the hell? Are we going to be popping out, like, baby AIs? Like, are they going to be coming out of the womb? Like, okay, well, getting into this, like, cyborg type thing. Have you ever heard of, what is it, Neuralink? Elon Musk's Neuralink?
No.
Yeah, it's like basically, like, I don't know the specific details, but it's basically, like, little tiny hole to your brain with like literally plug it into your brain, and it's essentially what they want to do with it is like, okay, I'm gonna take this back, kind of backstory here. With Elon Musk, he believes, and I'm kind of right there with him, we already are cyborgs with our phones in our pockets. We're already connected to these devices. The only thing that make us any different than somebody like, than a robot or like a half robot, something that's like in your head halfway, is that the speed of download. Basically, it just takes us longer to process the information from our phones. You know, it's at our fingertips. It's at our phones. We can access the internet and do whatever we want on our phones. The only difference is with like an actual cyborg, it's in its head and it's more instantaneous rather than like having to process that off a device. But that device is already connected to us. So his thought with creating Neuralink is literally like a plug into your head. So it's a part of you, like creating basically essentially a phone that's a part of you. And where he wants to go with this is like as far as communication as well, where you can communicate without verbally talking.
Okay.
Like crazy, like literally like getting into like cyborg type stuff here. Like,
so I'm gonna have like telemarketers calling my brain.
Yeah, basically like freaking telepathy. Like, yeah, you're just like, they're selling you ads and you're
I don't want solar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get out of my head.
Right. Yeah, you already got enough annoying thoughts, traumatizing thoughts in your head, and it's just like, fuck, now I gotta see ads in my head too.
Well, what about hackers?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, shit, I didn't even think about that.
You're gonna hack your memories. They can see your bank account. They
can see through your eye
anyway, through your phone, but
yeah, they like hack into your brain and they can see through your eyes.
Well, that's like an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah. Oh, so my manager Sam, he actually told me about that show today.
It's absolutely nuts, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have like the whole like total democracy, like liking the star rating system, right?
But that's already a thing, right? Isn't that in China or something?
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah. So basically, what it is like you're rated by every person. You got like it's like a 5-star.
It's like a credit score.
Yeah. So basically, like anybody you interact with, you can rate them, and everybody's got their star rating. So it's like, and that's how you kind of like get by and associate with people in society is by your rating, which is.
It's like you can't go into Starbucks if you don't have 4 stars.
Yeah, it's like a social credit score.
Go Dunkin'.
Yeah, exactly. That's so freaking wild. Yeah, it's like, and then the struggle with that is like, now you gotta be a people pleaser, and you like suppress your own emotions and feelings and like people please everybody to make sure your rating is good.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff in that show where I mean, it was a while ago that it came out too, but even when it came out, I was like, man, I could see this happening in the not too distant future.
Yeah. Well, and aren't we kind of like right there? Like, I mean, think about like DoorDash and like Uber, where like people have these accounts and you're rating these drivers, you're rating the individual people, and like I mean, the ratings are everywhere. I mean,
yeah,
like,
I mean, they're already everywhere.
Yeah. I don't know. And then with like, even with social media and just like the amount of followers you have and stuff like that, it's kind of, people look at your account and see how many followers you have and judge you off of that. And it's,
oh man, like we were talking about with restaurants. I was running restaurants for a long time. Yeah. I hate to be this guy, but you know, I would interview somebody, and even if they seemed like they were absolutely awesome, I would check them out on social media.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'd look them up on Facebook.
Yep.
And they're like partying, they got like guns out and stuff, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm not hiring you.
Yes, you're clear that. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's so weird because like, yeah, you get people that say specific things, because we're kind of like going through that where I'm working as well, where it's like so many interviews cycling through, and then you like look through their social media and it's like they aren't representing themselves online in any way remotely close to what they are in an interview. Like, it's like,
yeah, you can anyone can put on a suit and tie and go to an interview.
Exactly. Yeah, you can really see who somebody actually is by their social media, which is, yeah, it's just funny that, like, I feel like so many people don't even think about that for how common it is. But yeah, like, you know, business owners and stuff really look at that social media.
Yeah, I mean, we're just in such like a technologically advanced era right now, and it seems like every week something new comes out.
Yeah.
And it just, it goes on and on and on. And
the growth.
Just the rating system like you're talking about. I think in that show, she like spills a drink on somebody and they like give her 0 stars.
Yeah.
You know, and it deducts her rating down like half a star.
That's, yeah.
And in that show, it's like ruining her life.
Yeah.
It's ruining her life with that rating.
Yeah.
I mean, and like also with Black Mirror.
Yep.
There's an episode where you were saying that they could access like your vision.
Oh, okay,
see
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah.
That's in the show.
That's
they got
crazy.
An episode like that, and the guy's like obsessing over his wife at a dinner party with some friends because she like looks at his friend and like smiles, and he's like, and now look how you look at me, and she like looks at him and smiles, but it doesn't.
Okay.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
You know? He like replays it and replays it and replays it and gets crazy about it.
Yeah, that's freaking weird.
It's like I see how that stuff can happen easily.
Oh, that's so weird. We're technology. It's like, I don't know. I feel like we're like, it's like ironic because as distant as we're getting from each other, like, you know, in a physical sense, like we're like, there's so much like social awkwardness and like so much like distance, but like also we're becoming so connected in a different way. Like, I feel like socially we're growing apart, but like in a network, like online network, or like personal space sense, like a privacy sense, we're being more connected. So it's like a weird thing.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like socially we are growing apart because when I see somebody that I haven't seen for a while, there's no catching up, man.
Yeah.
I've seen it. You had 2 kids.
Yep.
You got a dog a month after you moved into your brand new house in Lakemore. Like,
it's so weird.
I got it covered, man.
Yep.
Hi, buddy. Nice to see you.
Yeah. What do you talk about?
What now?
Yeah.
So there's no catching up anymore. It's like, I already know what's going on with you.
Yeah.
And I deleted my Facebook probably a year ago now.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's awesome, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. I hardly know what's going on with people. When I see them at the grocery store, I can actually like
have conversations.
Talk to them and be genuinely surprised about where their life has gone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's I had took so much time off of social media, and then once I started this podcast, I got back on, and it's like, it is like I feel like even in the last, it was a 2-year break, but even in the last 2 years, like now it went from like the majority of people's lives online to like, you know, everything about everybody now. It's crazy. They're sharing everything. But you don't have that connection with them. It's such a weird like dynamic, I guess.
Well, it's hard to feel like a connection with somebody. Like, take for instance, a lot of people, a lot of friends of mine, a lot of acquaintances of mine, a lot of people that I just know, they'll confide in me. They'll kind of tell me some stuff that they wouldn't normally tell somebody. Yeah. Or at least I thought. Oh. Until social media came around and they just throw that shit out there. Yeah. Like, when I deleted my Facebook, it was a girl I know who was complaining about her kids, how they followed her around and they wouldn't get off her ass, and she wanted to be alone without them, and sometimes she wished they were never around. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, one, that guy that you're with now was your professor.
Oh, jeez.
You put yourself in that situation. Those are his kids. Yeah. That's your professor. Yeah. What are you doing throwing that around in social media, for one thing?
Yeah, that's...
But it's just not personal anymore. Yep. It's just... Yeah. I like face-to-face. I like, you know, feeling a connection. I like seeing expressions, you know. Frick, if they cry... my shoulder's available. Yeah, but when you complain and moan on Facebook to every single person in your timeline, person you met at a bar 6 weeks ago that called himself caveman, you don't need to know that. Yeah. Nobody needs to know that.
I feel like people appreciate a like on Instagram more than they appreciate a genuine hug.
Yeah, and that's such a shame. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I've always been the kind of person that like enjoys like interactions with people. I enjoy being out in the world. I like to go and, you know, breathe the mountain air, go for hikes. I like that kind of stuff. So this whole era is...
you feel alive, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, being out there in silence, all you hear is the wind and the birds on top of a mountaintop. Like, that's it. That's what I need. It's life. That's bliss. Yeah. That's my therapy. Yes. But now with this era of technology, it's like, it's so hard to get away. And it's almost like a little sad seeing every single mountaintop on Instagram. Yeah. I'm like, I want to see that shit in person. I'll see something and I'll like see where it's from. Like, I'll scroll past real quick. I'm like, oh man. Yeah. I never got to go to Machu Picchu myself, you know? Like, I want to see that.
And I feel like it dulls it out too, just seeing it over and over again on photos. And then like, you like, it's obviously much more breathtaking if you know, like if you're in the right mindset looking at it in person. But
it loses its luster a little bit.
Yeah, you know, if you've never seen anything like that in your life, and then you see like, you know, a white cap mountaintop with like the sun setting behind it or whatever, like that's amazing, which it always will be. But I mean, if you see all these pictures people are posting online, it's just like, yeah, I guess it loses its luster a little bit. Yeah, where it's like really cool in person, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're like losing connection with Mother Earth slowly, and
I feel like we're losing connection with ourselves. Yeah. When we watch everything everybody else is doing, all the TikToks that they're doing, and you just follow all your friends
in the middle of the street too. It's like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. I love the ones with like the guy just staring at people at Starbucks while he's like ready to pay, and they're like dancing. He's like just sitting there like waiting to pay and not saying anything. Yeah, shit's hilarious.
Oh, that's funny. Well, and then again too, it's like, what's the difference between that? Because then you got these people behind the counter that the guy's waiting on. They're doing,
and then he's making a video of it too. Yeah,
and then you got a guy waiting in line behind him that's looking at him like, what the fuck am I watching? You got these guy in front of me on his phone making a TikTok of a the girls behind the counter making TikToks.
Oh, it's never ending. And then there's me on the other end watching it from my phone, like, get a life.
Yeah, right. Yeah, shit. You're watching it. Yeah.
I find myself like losing it to it too, and it's like. That's why I like deleted Facebook. I still have Instagram. I like Instagram. It's a little easier. I can just like check out a picture. But it's the same thing. Like, all right, it's a boy.
Yeah.
Now I know it's not only pregnant and having a kid, but it's a boy. So the next time I see you, I'll be like, "How's your boy doing?" Instead of being like, "Oh shit, you have a kid."
Yeah. There's no no surprise, no genuine conversation. Yeah, and then it takes away from the like natural, genuine surprise or whatever the reaction of. Hey, like, I had a boy or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and that's like the least of the technology nowadays. We're going to talk AI and we're like social media.
Yeah, right. No, this is the
same thing, man.
Yeah.
It's just...
the growth is crazy.
It's just growing like crazy, and now like AI is a social media type thing now. And now it's going to be a video game too, which is even crazier.
It's nuts. Well, and
a sex robot. I forgot about that
Oh
already.
yes, yeah. Apparently,
can't forget that.
Yeah, and apparently, like with the AI, it like will remember what you like and stuff.
Oh my god!
It'll like learn your personality. And
see, when I pictured it, I was thinking like a human robot, but like. How in-depth and weird is this going to get?
Yeah, I don't know.
When I worked at iFly in Rosemont, there was a lot of furry conventions.
Oh, God, yeah.
I bring that shit to life.
Oh, fuck, Jesus. Yeah, and this, just so everybody knows, this isn't stuff that I go and research myself. This is how I heard this on Joe Rogan.
Podcast to podcast.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's still crazy stuff. And also with the social media stuff and just like, kind of like losing that face-to-face connection. At the bank, I was at the bank a few weeks back, and even the banker. So I just prefer face-to-face conversations. And like, I went in and asked to speak with the banker. We sat down, and we did what we did. And at the end, he was like, "You do know you could have just called in instead of driving out here, right?" He said that to me, and I was like, yeah, no, I just prefer, I was driving by here anyways, and I just prefer face-to-face. And he's like, oh, cool, how old are you? I was like, 25, and he's just like, oh, okay, cool. I prefer face-to-face too. I'm just surprised.
Yeah.
It's just funny how, we're kind of just getting away from that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you could probably call in for that or go on your mobile app.
Oh,
what
yeah.
most people would do is,
I'll
do it from my couch.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is like people being afraid to talk on the phone and stuff, too. Because it's like any interaction. It's not, we're so distant now that it's not just face-to-face. It's like people get scared to talk on the phone, too. And it's like, people just like do mobile order pickups for food because they don't want to talk to the cashier and stuff like that.
It's like car side pickup is still a thing. I thought that was just going to be a thing for like COVID, but
yeah, me too.
I mean, I think Chili has had it forever, but
oh yeah. Yeah, it's like the no contact order or whatever, like the whatever.
Yeah, it's like that was for the pandemic.
Yeah.
But now it's become like a customary thing for people to do. It's like, now it's no contact because I just want to avoid contact with people in general.
It's so weird. It's like we're just like, just little things walking around, just like bumping into each other, not even communicating. Whatever happened to saying like, "Oh, good morning," or "How you doing?" or like, I walk through the grocery store and like, I'll bring Katie on the podcast one of these episodes and ask her just for verification, because I like at the grocery store I'll say hi and like smile at people that I don't know, and people like almost take offense to that. It's like
what
awkward.
Are you looking at?
Yeah, like I'll just like if we're walking side like at each other and we make eye contact, I'll smile at them or say, "How's it going?" and they like give me like a disgusted look, like, "Oh, how dare you just talk to me like that?" Or like I'll like if I'm turning around a corner and there's somebody right there and we're like coming at each other, and I'll like stop and I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and then I back up and then they glare at me and then walk past me. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm fucking not." And I've said that before too, and Katie will like nudge me with the elbow and be like, don't, oh my God, don't say that. And I'm like, it's like, why can't people just have, like, I was surprised the other day. I had a semi truck driver. He drove past, like, I don't know where he was from, but he was not from around here, that's for sure. Because he drove by me, and I was like pulling a truck out of the shop, and he's like pulling past, and like I stop to let him through, and he looks up at me quickly and just like smiles at me and gives me a little salute, and I'm like, oh, fucking cool.
Homeboys from the country.
Yeah. I was like, oh, cool, dude. He's got this big ass like handlebar mustache too.
that guy's that guy. He's my dude.
Yeah,
I can already tell.
Yeah, I was like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. Like, you don't get that anymore. Like, even like smiling and waving at people that like let you in, and like, I don't know. It's just like, what happened to social connection? Like, everybody's just like scared of each other now, I think.
It's a weird time, yeah.
Yeah. But and then again, like, scared of each other in person, but then they'll go and call you a fucking asshole online or whatever, or comment like you're an idiot and you know nothing or whatever.
Start a Facebook fight.
Yeah, exactly.
All of a sudden they see you at the grocery store and you're best friends again.
Yeah. Everybody's fearless behind the screen.
Oh yeah, it's an easy place to say whatever you want.
Drives me crazy.
And if you realize you're wrong in that whole comment thread, you can just delete your shit.
Yeah,
and act like it never happened.
Yeah.
You can't do that in person, you know?
It's insane. Oh my goodness.
I think I was talking to a homeowner at a job the other day, and he was talking about how I think he's got like I think she's like 13, like a 13-year-old girl or something right now. And it just seems like such a prime age.
Yep.
It's a terrible age to be growing up in this pandemic, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's like, she was a little like shy, and then the pandemic hit, and now he's like, dude, she can't go through a drive-through and order food. She gets so much anxiety. She can't go through a McDonald's drive-through. It's like that much interaction gives you anxiety. It's sad. Well,
yeah, it is sad. And then like, if that's, you know, obviously, if there's a case like that, it's not like that's the only case. There's like, this is just spreading like wildfire. So it's like,
I think that those teenage years, I mean, that was a rough time for me.
It is a rough time. Yeah.
Early 2000s,
it's like a crucial developing age. And then to go through that pandemic in those years, like, that really messed people up. And it's like, where are we going from here? Like, this no contact and like social distancing thing is just like, it's stuck around after COVID, and you know, what's that doing to society? It's like dividing us.
I knew it was going to stay too.
Yeah.
During COVID, I was like, man, this is a good idea for COVID, but unfortunately, this is going to stick around because it's just way too convenient.
Yeah. I
find myself using DoorDash too, and like,
oh yeah, I do too.
I did it the other day, and it was like pouring rain, just dumping buckets.
Yeah,
and I'm like, ugh. I'm just gonna DoorDash.
Yeah.
And then like it gets dropped off, and I see the guy like scurrying back to his vehicle, getting dumped on in the rain. I'm like, God.
Yeah.
What a lazy asshole I was, you know?
Yeah. I use DoorDash a lot too, and it's just so convenient. But like, I try to like. There's obviously times where they like, if I'm doing something, I'll just be like, where the fuck is my food? And I look and I'm like, oh, it was dropped off 15 minutes ago. I'm like, oh shit. It's sitting outside. But like,
they don't even knock on the door anymore or ring the doorbell. It's like, snap a photo, cover my ass, and bail.
Yep. You don't even need a doorbell anymore because nobody uses them.
Yeah.
It's oh, fucking. You might as well not even have doors because it's not like anybody's gonna come up to your door. Everybody's scared of people now.
Well, I mean, like them, they're probably like, oh yeah, I mean, this person has their phone on them. They gotta have it in their hand, looking at it at this moment. They'll see my picture. Yeah.
So back to that though, I try to keep an eye on the DoorDash thing and go out there as they're arriving, because like usually it'll like notify and say like Dasher approaching or whatever, and and I'll like try to open up the door and like take it from them and be like, thank you so much, you have a great rest of your night, or whatever. Say something to them, and like you get some nice ones that are like, oh, thank you, you too. But there's some like awkward ones that are like surprised that you came out, like, oh, who are you? Like, there's somebody living here? Like, it's like they'll like,
you're not gonna wait till I leave to grab this.
Or I've had people literally like set it on the ground, and like I open up the door and I'm like, hi, how's it going, how are you? And they literally don't say a word, and they set it on the steps in front of me, and they scurry off, and I'm like, the fuck just dropped off my food? What are you? Like, are you even human? Yeah. I was like, the fuck, do I even want to eat this now? Like, where did this come from?
Peel out. They're telling this story to their family. You're like, the craziest thing happened. You just charged at me.
Yeah, I just lunged
smiling like a psychopath.
He said hi to me. Oh, told me to have a good night.
I just threw the food and ran. Honey. I barely made it out of there with my life.
Yeah, literally. It's like, you can't even say hi to people now. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, people have always been awkward. There's always been those awkward people in the world, and I've always been one of them. So
yeah, oh yeah, me too.
I can relate to that part. But with this, it's just like you're throwing fuel on the flame, man. Yeah,
no, that's the tough thing too. Is it's kind of like enabling this, because like me too. I've definitely been like, I'm on the more socially awkward introvert side, but there's, you know, just that's part of just growing up, is just like, you know, putting yourself, just growing into the culture, and like, you know, talking to people. That's one of the beautiful things about life, is just talking to people and learning about life and growing your own knowledge, and, you know, hearing other people's experiences, sharing ideas. This is like, we're all in this together, and that's what we're all here for. And to what we're doing is just like cutting that out for our own, you know, like, I don't even know why. It's just like easier just not to talk to people or something. I don't even, and even for me, I don't know where it comes from, but there is definitely an urge where it's like, you know, I have to myself be like, say hi, or force myself to be like, how's it, like, how you doing, or whatever. But like, I don't know where that comes from. The awkwardness, I guess.
I mean, it's human nature.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we're going to be awkward in some situations.
Yep.
Some people are more awkward in different situations. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
I tend to say, well, I'm a lot better now that I've grown up a lot.
Well, yeah, and you being a bartender for years, you really had to overcome a lot of that, right? The social connection kind of thing, just talking to people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're part-time bartender, part-time therapist. That's just the way it fucking is, man.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I have worked people through some shit before.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Drake, one time, he was serving a guy who came in, Drake was managing at the time. The bartender was serving a guy.
Yeah.
He seemed super normal, and then he ends up like giving her a necklace, right?
Uh-huh.
She's like, that's weird. The necklace belonged to a girl that he had just killed before that.
Oh, like, fuck. Are
the
you
bartending
serious?
World is weird.
Jesus.
Dude. Weird shit happens.
Oh,
you meet
fuck.
weirdos. I mean, first murder encounter for us, but
yeah.
we found that out later on.
That's nuts.
Yeah, dude, it's...
Oh, God. What did he say?
Crazy.
What did he say when he dropped that off?
He was like, "Oh, you're so beautiful. Like, here's this. Take this, beautiful. You know, like, this is a strange man, obviously. Yeah, he stopped for a drink on the way home after murdering someone. So like, weird shit happens. Most of the time, you don't know about that.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah. And then how did you find out that?
That was Drake. It was
grapevine.
Yeah, it was a Drake find. I think actually the cops came by and asked some questions.
Oh, God.
I'm not really sure about that one, but yeah, there's
crazy stories.
We've had some weird shit happen in the bars. For me, most of it was like drunk man crying about divorce.
Yep. Yeah, that's the typical one.
That's the typical one right there.
Yeah.
And I guess, I've helped a lot of people out with that. That's helped with my social skills, I guess, for the most part. Sure. But being out of the restaurants,
yep,
dude, it's only been a little bit, but it's kind of great being away from that kind of thing. And you were talking about like how you're an introvert, and I can see myself kind of slowly moving over to the introvert side.
Yeah.
When I was in the extrovert lifestyle for so long.
Yeah.
I think like a nice balance between the two is good, because like I was an extrovert, man. Like it was, I have to be doing something. I have to be out at all times. I slept like 3 hours a night. I worked like a minimum of 75 hours to, I think there was 1 week where I worked like 110 hours in a week.
Dang. Wow.
I was taking naps in the car in the back of the place, getting up and running the place again.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it was like,
dang,
it was go, 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 go for that lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice moving towards a little bit more of an introvert lifestyle for me. Like I find myself like Saturday mornings, I'll wake up, I'll do some yard work and shit. Nice. I'll pop my tunes in, listen to some music, listen to a podcast, I'm doing all the Harry Potter books on Audible right now.
Yeah.
So
the
like
books are so much better.
Oh, they're great. They're great. But I like to like kind of get in my own groove and do my own thing, hang out with my dog rather than a person sometimes. But I think a nice balance between the two.
Yes. Yeah, definitely balance is key, because there's so much, there's value in both sides. There's value in being able to talk to people and getting out and just feeling alive, feeling like a human being, and like doing things together, you know?
It's funny how you say that, because I was napping hard on the couch with the wiener dog before coming out and getting dinner with you guys.
Yeah.
And I like woke up from the nap and I saw like Steffi's like, oh, I'm leaving work in 10. Like, yeah, we'll do Olive Garden. We'll come over for some drinks and stuff. And it sounds great. And I was like, oh shit. Like, I ate a bunch of edibles this morning and just kind of like chilled out, relaxed. I was like, oh shit, it's raining. Guess I'm not doing yard work. Yeah. Ate my weight in Sour Patch Kids. Yeah. I was just a big useless piece of crap today.
Those are good days, though.
It was great. It was great. But the term I used to Steffi, she like called me and I like texted her from the shower and I was like, hey, I'm in the shower. I'm just, I'm working on becoming a human being again. So it's funny that you say that.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, but like that, just the social aspect is so important to just have that connection and feel that, you know, you can go crazy if you're isolated for so long, you know, like, so it's important to have that social connection, but then again, it's also important to have that time to yourself and reflect on what you're doing and where you're going, kind of thing. So there's a sweet spot there. There's a balance, and that might shift for each individual person, you know, but there's definitely a sweet spot for each person.
Yeah, totally. Like my buddy Ricky is just like, he's always been that kind of guy, like go. Oh, we're doing a rock concert Saturday, and then, you know, Sunday morning we're gonna drive 3 hours and we're gonna see a motorcycle race and a car show, and then after that we're gonna go back, drive 2 hours back home, and then it's buddy's birthday party and we're gonna do some fishing and barbecuing, and it's just
always something.
Go. Like, yeah. I was talking about D&D the other day. I was trying to get him on board with some D&D.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no, man. Like, I don't know. It seems pretty boring. Yeah. He's like, I like to do things. And I'm like, well, there's dice, man. Yeah. Like, you're rolling dice.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why don't we just play normal dice? And I'm like, Rick.
Yeah, how is D&D boring, but
normal
dice?
Yeah. I was like, what? So I kind of tricked him into like a D&D session on his own. Did a little DMing for him and just made like a a scenery with like a cave
cool.
mouth, and I'm like, now what do you do, man?
Yeah.
Starts doing it, and then like 10 minutes later he's like, whoa, what the fuck? And I was like, you're playing it right now. And he's like, well, there's no board game. And I'm like, or there's no board. And I'm like, there is no board. You were literally just playing D&D.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't want to play. And I was like, you were having fun.
Yeah, dude. I love it because it's so like creative. I love using the imagination. I love thinking, and like when the dungeon master creates the scenery, and then like seeing each person come up with thoughts, and like I feel like our group gets very creative with it. And
it always starts off weird, you know. It always starts off where we're like,
it's a little awkward at first.
Then in about 15 minutes we're all like, and then I chop his balls off. That's you.
That's me.
You. But
and then the penis goes flipping through the air and just smacks JJ in the face.
Well, that's the thing. Like I like it because it's a group of people.
Yeah.
Face to face.
Yeah. Exactly.
Obviously, we're drinking. We're having a good time.
Yeah.
And it's social. We're talking.
It is.
But not
no
only
screens.
Yeah. I mean, my D&D character is on D&D Beyond. But besides that. We're not like on Facebook. We're not.
Yeah. Yep.
We're not messing around with anything on our screens. Like, we're playing the game. We're there. Awesome. We're in it.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important to have an imagination.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I talk to kids nowadays, and there's nothing ticking, man.
It's dull.
There's not much imagination going on.
Yep.
Like when I was working at iFly, we got a lot of kids in there.
Yep.
I'm a big anime nerd. I'm wearing a Naruto shirt right now. Like, there's a little kid at Olive Garden wearing a Naruto shirt, and I was like, "Yo, Steffi, like, check out that my dude's Naruto drip over there." He had like blue popsicle stain around his mouth, and I'm like, "This kid's the shit," you know. But the kids that I would meet there, I would like try to talk to them a little bit, you know, and it was like 1 in 20 that would actually give me a legitimate conversation back, even though we clearly have something in common.
Yep.
Like, you're wearing a shirt, I'd be like, hey man, like, who's your favorite character in Naruto? Or who's your favorite character in My Hero? Or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Marvel character? And it was just like nothing. There was nothing in there.
Like,
so like,
what?
We gotta bring the imagination back to these kids. And like when I was young, I had a big wooded area in the back. I'm sure you can relate because you're Farmer Frye. Big wooded area in the back, and Drake and I would go back there and we'd fuck around. All day.
Oh yeah.
All day, man.
Yep.
And we brought nothing back there.
Yeah.
Like not even our shoes.
It's awesome.
And we literally would go into the way back, is what we called it, because it was like the wooded area beyond my fenced-in yard. The way back, 100 yards. And we'd play imagination.
Yeah. Yes.
What was imagination? Whatever the hell we wanted it to be.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's why I like D&D. I feel like it lets me be a kid again.
Yes.
A little bit,
yes.
you know?
Beautifully said. Exactly. Yeah. Same with me and JJ too at the farm. Like, we'd literally go out there into the woods and just like, it didn't, like, it was one of us would just be like, we'd just be walking through the woods and be like, holy fuck, there's troops incoming. And we just like pick up a stick off the ground, and then we just like lay down in the leaves and be like, pow, 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 pow. Just like literally just play. And then like JJ would climb up into the tree and be like, I'll get the guys in the back, you get these guys. And then we're just like,
I'm a sniper now.
Yeah, I'm a sniper now up in the tree. And we'd literally just pretend there was like waves of troops coming in, and we just like, we're holding sticks. It was awesome. It was just so much fun. And then just like pretend like broken down cars and trucks are like army tanks and stuff. And it's just, we need that imagination. That's what drives society forward, is the people that can think outside the box and just imagine things. And there's just so much, you're just fed all this useless information on social media that, everybody's dull and their brains are just exhausted and they don't have time or room to think for themselves anymore. It's like, you got to have that. You got to leave that room to, be creative.
I think creativity is something that has slipped away a lot. It went from I think it went from a lot of art and stuff when I was growing up to more of an engineering era.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
Which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but maybe don't throw AI into engineering. But
yeah.
It's. I feel like there's not as many free thinkers anymore.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's sad to see that.
Yeah, it is.
I look at my little nephew, my nephew Jace.
Yep.
He's a sweet little dude.
Yeah.
He's got nothing to say. He's autistic, so he doesn't talk, but he observes, and he's very creative, and I think he's going to be one of those people that'll actually make a change in the world.
That's awesome.
Because he doesn't give a shit about social media.
Yeah.
Why would he give a shit about social media? He doesn't even want to talk to you at all. He'll listen to what you have to say, but he's got nothing to say back.
Yeah.
But I mean, the kid was crawling around. I think he was maybe 5 months old at this.
Oh, wow.
At this time.
Yeah.
And he was already crawling around because he knows how things work.
That's so cool.
And I'm over at my sister's house and I'm looking at him and I'm like, what is he doing right now? And she's like, oh, he's taking off the plate covers for all the outlets.
Oh,
he had a little fake drill.
Wow.
He's putting it on the screws, acting like he's unscrewing them, and then acting like he's taking the plate covers off.
Wow.
At 5 months old, this little dude already knows how it works from watching his dad replace all the outlets in the house.
That's crazy.
But doesn't say anything, doesn't care to learn how to go to the bathroom or anything. But
there's a little Einstein in his own head.
I'm like, dude, it's Elon Musk, right?
Yeah. Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. And
Dang.
I think you're going to see that more and more. I think that autistic children are going to be the kids that change the freaking world. Yeah. They're the only ones left with creativity.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, they're the ones that can think for themselves.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't want to look at the iPad. He doesn't want to watch Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
The little dude wants to go outside and he wants to run with the chickens.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool as hell.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's gonna do awesome things.
I remember hearing, I don't remember who said it, but it was something like nowadays growing up, everybody's all these kids can download apps and play games and show me how to change the wallpaper on my phone or whatever and do all this stuff at whatever it is, 3 years, 4 years old. When I was 3 or 4 years old, I was making and eating mud pies.
I was doing that at far too old of an age, man. I mean, I helped my dad build this big ass pond in my backyard when I was younger. I think I was 10 or 11 years old.
Yeah.
And it was a 7-foot deep pond. We dug a massive hole. We used a little mini backhoe.
Oh yeah.
And we shaped this whole thing. I helped build the rocks around it. And
yep.
But when it was just a mud pie in there, it had a really heavy rain.
Yeah.
And my mom couldn't find me and Drake anywhere, of course. And we're at the bottom of this thing, and there's just a bunch of mud piles.
Yep.
With our faces imprinted in it, with long tubes for where our nostrils were, because the mud went so far into our nostrils that when we took our faces out, there was just
that's so funny. Oh
so 11 years old, not 3 years old.
Hey, no, you're still out there. That's good though.
I'll do it again when I'm 32.
Yeah, I'll do it now.
Give me a mud pie.
Yeah, sounds as good as ever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I try to never grow up in some aspects.
That's awesome though. That's a really cool thing. It's a beautiful thing. And me too. I mean, a lot of people think that I'm, immature and silly, but I think that's crucial, especially nowadays, to be, like when I have kids, I want to be the father that's not afraid to, get on my hands and knees and make mud pies with my kids or build sandcastles or like, get dirty and play, it's so many people, I feel like even dirt, just on this mud pie subject, but like even dirt, like parents are like afraid of their children tracking mud and dirt into the house. They're like ruining their good clothes. And it's like, I didn't have a set of good clothes. All of my clothes were stained and dirty. They still are. It's like I have stains on everything. And like we left growing up, our doors were always open other than in the wintertime. It was like constantly summertime, the doors were always open, and nobody cared about mud or dirt or anything. It would just, track it all through the house, and that's just growing up. Oh, Stephanie. Okay. We have guests over, actually. I didn't realize how.
Got guests here?
Yes, we do. All right.
We're talking about mud pies.
Yeah, we're sitting here talking about mud pies, and in social activities. And
I love me some mud pies.
That's my girlfriend.
Hell yeah, that's my sister.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Okay, we'll wrap this up.
Be still my beating heart.
Yeah, we'll just wrap this up quickly. We got some guests over to socialize with. So, Doug, everybody, you got anything to wrap this up with?
I don't have any
final words.
like a catchphrase or something.
Yeah, tell us, enlighten us on the importance of life nowadays. People say yourself when you're 10 years old, 12 years old. What would you say to yourself back then, like now?
Oh, I gotta. I don't have time. I gotta go. Got some friends over. Nice meeting y'all. Bye.
Peace.